Staff Sergeant Ta Kim wiped the sweat from his forehead as he stood at his post. The hot sun beat down on the military base in Arizona. It was his third year at this remote outpost, far from his hometown in California. Sergeant Kim, report to command center immediately. The voice crackled through his radio. Ta frowned. It was unusual to be called without any explanation. He quickly made his way across the dusty compound to the main building. Inside, the normally quiet command center buzzed with activity. Screens showed news reports from around the world. Officers huddled in small groups, talking in low voices. Colonel G. Lee waved him over. Kim, good. You're here. What's happening, sir? Tai asked. Colonel Lee pointed at the main screen. That's happening. Tay's mouth fell open. The screen showed a massive ship hovering over New York City. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, smooth and silver, shaped like a teardrop, and bigger than most skyscrapers. Aliens? Tai asked, hardly believing his own words. Yes, Colonel Lee said. They call themselves the Navar. They made contact 3 hours ago, said they come in peace. Do we believe them? That's what we need to find out. Higher command is putting together teams to meet with them. You've been selected to join the military delegation. Me, sir? Why? Your combat record, your calm under pressure, your quick thinking. Also, you speak 4 languages. You might pick up their language faster than others. Ta nodded slowly. His grandfather had always told him that learning languages would open doors, but he never expected this kind of door. 3 days later, Ta stood in a newly built meeting room in Washington, D.C. His dress uniform felt tight as he waited with 5 other military personnel from different branches. The room also held scientists, doctors, and government officials. The door opened. Everyone fell silent. 3 tall figures entered. The Navar stood nearly 7 feet tall, with gray-blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. They had 4 arms and walked with strange grace. Their faces had 2 large eyes, completely black, and small mouths with no visible nose. The lead alien stepped forward. I am Saul, lead diplomat of the Navar Collective. We come with peace and knowledge to share. His voice sounded almost musical, with perfect English that came from a small device on his chest. The Secretary of State stepped forward to welcome them. As the formal greetings continued, Todd watched carefully. He had been in too many combat situations not to trust his instincts, and something felt off. Sol's movements were smooth, but Todd noticed how the alien's eyes constantly moved around the room, not in curiosity, but in assessment. The way the 3 Navar positioned themselves reminded Tai of tactical formations, and when the aliens thought no one was watching, their friendly expressions slipped, revealing something colder. During the meeting, Sol spoke of sharing technology, medicine, and knowledge of the stars. We have much to offer Earth, he said. We ask only for cultural exchange and friendship in return. Everyone seemed impressed. Scientists whispered excitedly. Government officials smiled and nodded. But when Sol looked directly at Ta, the Marine felt a chill run down his spine. There was something in those black eyes, something calculating. Later, as they left the meeting, Colonel Lee asked, "What did you think, Kim?" Ta hesitated. He had no proof, just a feeling. They seem very generous, sir. But, Lee prompted, but I was taught that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Colonel Lee nodded slowly. Keep your eyes open, Sergeant. That's why you're here. That night, Ta lay awake in his hotel room. The world was celebrating first contact. News channels showed people cheering in the streets, welcoming their new alien friends. But all Ta could think about was the look in Sol's eyes. It wasn't the look of a friend. It was the look of a predator sizing up its prey. 3 months had passed since the Navar arrived on Earth. The world had changed quickly. Navar ships now visited many major cities. They shared some of their technology, better medicines, cleaner energy, and faster computers. Ta Kim had a new job. He was now part of the security team at the International Alien Research Center in San Diego. Today, he was assigned to protect Dr. Hye-Jin Park, a top scientist studying Nevar biology. Tai knocked on the lab door. "Dr. Park, I'm Sergeant Kim, your security detail for today." The door opened. Dr. Park was a small woman with short black hair and bright, alert eyes. Her lab coat had colorful pins on it. One was a tiny Korean flag. "Thank you for coming, Sergeant," she said, looking up from her microscope. "I just need to finish this one test." Ta stood by the door while Dr. Park worked. He watched her study something on a screen. It looked like a brain scan with strange patterns. "That's interesting," she said, mostly to herself. She made some notes and looked excited. Then she remembered Tai was there. "Sorry, I get lost in my work sometimes." "No problem. What are you studying?" Tai asked. "Nevar brain structure. It's very different from ours." She started to say more, but her phone beeped. "Oh, we're late for the diplomatic reception. We need to go now." They hurried to the car. On the drive, Tai asked about her work. "The Nevar brains are unusual," Hye-Jin explained. "They have extra connections I've never seen before." I was about to run more tests when we had to leave. The reception was held at a large hotel. Many important people were there: politicians, scientists, and military officers. 6 Nevar diplomats moved through the crowd, talking and smiling. Tai stayed close to Dr. Park as she talked with other scientists. He kept his eyes on the Nevar. Something still bothered him about them. Later, Dr. Park went to get a drink. Ta followed at a distance. That's when he noticed 2 Nevar standing in a quiet corner. They were speaking their own language, not using their translation devices. Ta moved closer, pretending to look at a painting on the wall. For the past 3 months, he had secretly been learning the Nevar language from recordings. He could only understand a few words, but what he heard made him freeze. Humans, so weak, easy to control, not like they think. One Nevar made a sound like quiet laughter. The other replied, "Soon enough." They noticed Ta and switched back to their translation devices. "Enjoying the party, Sergeant?" one asked with a friendly smile. "Yes, thank you," Ta said, hiding his concern. That night, Tay reported what he heard to Colonel Lee. They met in an empty office at the base. "You're sure about this?" Colonel Lee asked. "I only caught a few words, sir," but their tone was clear. They weren't talking like allies. They sounded like they were mocking us. Colonel Lee sighed. "Look, Him, I know you have good instincts, but we can't risk our relationship with the Nevar because of a few words you might have misunderstood. They've shared more technology in 3 months than we've developed in 50 years. But, sir..." "No, Sergeant. That's enough. Don't rock the boat. This alliance is too important." Colonel Lee stood up. "Continue your security duties, but keep your concerns to yourself. That's an order." "Yes, sir," Ta said stiffly. The next morning, Tai arrived early at Dr. Park's lab. He was surprised to find her already there, looking worried. "Dr. Park, is everything okay?" She shook her head. "Something strange happened yesterday. I was about to make an important discovery about the Nevar brain structure. But when I came in this morning, some of my data was missing." "Missing? Could it have been deleted by accident?" "No." Her eyes met his. "Someone took it on purpose, and only a few people knew what I was working on." Todd felt that same chill he had when he first met Sol. "Dr. Park, I think we need to talk. I heard something last night that concerns me." "What is it?" she asked. "I don't think the Nevar are being honest with us, and I think your missing data might be connected to that." Tai and Dr. Park sat in her small office, away from the main lab. They spoke in whispers, even though they were alone. "Tell me exactly what you found in your research," Ta said. Hye-Jin pulled out a tablet and showed him some brain scans. "These are human brains," she said, pointing to the top row of images. "And these are Nevar brains." She pointed to the bottom row. Ta looked closely but wasn't sure what he was seeing. What's different? Look at these connections here. Hejin pointed to a specific area. Navar brains have these unusual links that human brains don't have. At first, I thought they were just different because they're aliens, but then I found this. She pulled up another image. This is a scan from a different Navar. The basic brain is the same, but the connections are completely different. It's like they have different functions. What kind of functions? Tai asked. One looks designed for following orders, another for giving orders, one for fighting, one for, she paused, infiltration and deception. Tai felt cold, like a hive mind, with different roles. Exactly. They're not individuals like us. They're more like parts of a whole. Hejin looked worried. The data that went missing was my full report on this. Someone didn't want me to finish it. Tay told her about the conversation he had overheard at the reception. We need more proof. Solid evidence that the Navar aren't what they claim to be. I think I know where to look, Hejin said. The Navar gave us access to some of their research files. They're supposed to be about medicine and technology. But I found a hidden folder that I can't open. If we could see what's in there. Can you hack it? Tai asked. Hejin smiled a little. I'm a biologist, not a computer expert, but I know someone who might help. My brother worked in cybersecurity before he joined the Marines. His name is Do Hyun Song. He's stationed not far from here. That evening, Corporal Do Hyun Song met them at Hejin's apartment. He looked like an older version of Hejin, with the same alert eyes. My sister says you think the aliens are up to something, Do Hyun said to Ta. I always thought they were too good to be true. Do Hyun worked on Hejin's computer. His fingers moved quickly over the keyboard. Their security is good, but not perfect, he said. They didn't expect anyone to look closely at these files. After an hour, Do Hyun sat back. Got it. The screen filled with strange symbols and images. Do Hyun ran a translation program. These are military reports, he said. They're sending information back to their homeworld about our defenses, our weapons, our weaknesses. Ta pointed at one file. What's that? Do Hyun opened it. Inside were maps and plans. This looks like invasion plans, he said quietly. They're mapping out our major cities, military bases, power plants. There's more, Hejin said, pointing at a date on the screen. This says a first wave is coming in 5 days. They're calling it a cultural exchange fleet. But look at these numbers. It's over 50 ships. Tay thought quickly. We need to take this to Colonel Lee. He has to listen now that we have proof. Wait, Do Hyun said. We should make copies first. If something happens to this evidence, no one will believe us. They copied the files onto 3 separate drives. Ta put one in his pocket. Tomorrow morning, we go to Colonel Lee together. Tonight, keep your doors locked. Don't talk to anyone about this. As they left Hejin's apartment, none of them noticed the small drone watching from a nearby rooftop. Its camera lens focused on their faces, then flew silently back to the Navar embassy. Inside the embassy, Saul watched the drone's footage with cold eyes. They know too much, he said to his officers. Find what evidence they have and destroy it. The humans must not be warned before our fleet arrives. One officer asked, should we eliminate them? Sol considered this. No, not yet. That would draw attention. We'll handle Colonel Lee first. He's the one they'll go to. Make sure he's ready for them. The officer nodded and left to carry out the orders. Zol looked back at the images of Ta, Hejin, and Do Hyun. Such primitive creatures, he said softly. They have no idea what they're up against. The next morning, Ta, Hejin, and Do Hyun arrived at the military base. They needed to see Colonel Lee right away. None of them had slept much. The weight of what they had discovered kept them awake. Remember, let me do the talking first, Ta said as they walked down the hallway to Lee's office. He might not believe us at first. The guard outside Colonel Lee's office nodded to Ta. He's expecting you, Sergeant. This surprised Ta. He hadn't called ahead. How did the colonel know they were coming? They entered the office. Colonel Lee sat behind his desk, looking calm. Sergeant Kim, Dr. Park, Corporal Song, what brings you all here this morning? He asked with a small smile. Ta stepped forward. Sir, we have important information about the Navar. We believe they're planning an invasion. Colonel Lee's face showed no surprise. That's a serious claim, Sergeant. What evidence do you have? Hejin handed him one of the drives. We found hidden files in the Navar database. They show plans for an invasion fleet arriving in 4 days. Lee took the drive, but didn't look at it. I see. And you decoded these files yourselves? Yes, sir, Du-hyun said. I broke through their security. The files are clearly military reports. Lee nodded slowly. Very thorough work. Please, sit down. Let's discuss this. Something felt wrong to Ta. The colonel was too calm. He should have been shocked, or at least concerned. Sir, we need to alert High Command immediately, Ta said, staying on his feet. In due time, Sergeant Lee said. His voice sounded strange now, almost flat. First, I need to know if you've shared this information with anyone else. Hejin glanced at Ta with worry in her eyes. Sir, with respect, that's not the priority right now, Ta said firmly. The Navar fleet will be here in 4 days. Lee stood up. You're right, Sergeant. Time is important. He walked to a cabinet and opened it. That's why I need to know who else knows about this. Tae's hand moved toward his sidearm. Something was very wrong. Sir, are you feeling all right? Lee turned back to them. His eyes looked different now. Empty. I'm feeling fine, Sergeant. Better than ever, in fact. The Navar have shown me the truth. Tai drew his weapon. Step away from the cabinet, sir. Lee laughed. It wasn't his normal laugh. Always so observant, Kim. That's what Saul said about you. You've been compromised, Ta said, keeping his gun steady. Step away from the cabinet now. Instead, Lee pressed a button under his desk. An alarm sounded. Security breach in the command office, said a voice over the speaker. All personnel respond. Run, Ta shouted to Hejin and Du-hyun. They rushed out of the office. The guard outside reached for his weapon. But Tai was faster. He knocked the man down with a quick strike. This way, Du-hyun said, leading them down a side hallway. They could hear footsteps behind them. Guards were coming. How many people do you think they've turned? Hejin asked as they ran. No way to know, Ta said. But we can't trust anyone in command now. They reached a service door that led outside. Du-hyun used his access card to open it. We need to get off base, Ta said. Head for the parking area. They ran across an open area between buildings. Suddenly, a Navar transport ship appeared above them. It was smaller than the diplomatic ships, built for speed. They're hunting us, Du-hyun said. They ducked into another building just as a beam of light swept the ground where they had been standing. They're scanning for us, Hejin said, breathing hard. Ta looked around. They were in a communication center, but it was empty. Du-hyun, can you send a message from here? Something that might reach people we can trust. Do-hyun sat at a computer. I can try, but who do we trust now? Tae thought quickly. Captain Mina Kang. Naval Intelligence. She works independently from our chain of command. If Lee's been compromised, she might still be clean. Do-hyun typed quickly. Message sent. Now what? Tai checked his weapon. Now we find a way off this base, and then we stop an alien invasion. Outside, more Navar ships circled overhead. The hunt had begun. Ta, Hejin, and Du-hyun spent the night hiding in an old warehouse near the docks. They were tired, hungry, and worried. Every sound made them jump. Do you think Captain Kang got our message? Hejin asked as she looked out the dirty window. If she did, I don't know how she'll find us, Ta said. They had moved 3 times since escaping the base. Do-hyun was working on a small device he had taken from the communications room. If I can get this working, we can listen to military channels. Maybe learn how far the Nevar control has spread. A noise outside made them all freeze. Footsteps approached the door. Tad raised his gun. The door opened slowly. A woman in civilian clothes stepped in. She had short hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Staff Sergeant Kim," she asked quietly. "Who's asking?" Ta kept his gun steady. "Captain Mina Kang, Naval Intelligence." She showed them her ID. "Your message said it was urgent." Ta lowered his weapon. "How did you find us?" "I have my ways," she said with a small smile. "More importantly, I'm not compromised. Now tell me what's going on." They showed her the evidence on the drives. Mina's face grew darker as she read through the files. "This is worse than I feared," she said. "I've suspected something was wrong for weeks. Strange orders coming from the top. People changing overnight. How many people do you think they've taken over?" Jin asked. "Hard to say. At least 50 high-ranking officials that I can confirm. Maybe hundreds more." Mina looked at them. "But they can't control everyone. There are others like me who noticed something was wrong. We just didn't know what." "We need to warn people about the invasion fleet," Ta said. Mina shook her head. "If we go public, the Navar will just deny it, and the humans they control will back them up. We need more than just files. We need to understand how they're controlling people and how to stop it." Jin spoke up. "I think I know how they're doing it. In my research, I found that Navar have special brain structures that allow them to connect with each other. I think they're using a similar technology to control humans." "Can it be blocked?" Mina asked. "Maybe. If I had access to a lab, I could study it better." Mina thought for a moment. "I know a place, a private research facility run by people I trust. We can go there tonight." "What about the invasion fleet?" Do-hyun asked. "We only have 3 days. One problem at a time," Mina said firmly. "First, we build our team. I have contacts, military personnel who haven't been compromised, scientists who can help us understand the Navar technology." Over the next day, they moved carefully through the city to Mina's safe house. More people joined them. A fighter pilot named Sun Ba who had refused strange orders, a communications expert named Ju Won Han who had noticed odd signals coming from Navar ships, and several others. In the evening, they gathered around a table in the basement of the safe house. 12 humans against an alien invasion. "We're not much," Ta said, looking at their small group. "Neither were the first resistance fighters in any war," Mina replied. "What matters is that we know the truth while the enemy thinks we're in the dark." "They underestimate us," Jin added. "They think humans are weak because we don't have their technology or their hive mind." Ta nodded. "And that's their mistake. They don't understand what humans can do when we're backed into a corner." Mina spread out a map. "The invasion fleet arrives in 3 days. We can't stop them from coming, but we can prepare a welcome they won't expect." "How?" Ju-won asked. Mina looked at each of them. "By using their greatest weakness against them." "Which is?" Do-hyun asked. Ta smiled for the first time in days. "Their belief that they've already won." Outside the safe house, the city lights shined bright. Most people went about their lives, unaware of the danger coming from the stars. But in that small basement, the resistance was born. 12 humans standing against an alien threat. The odds were impossible. But humans have always been good at beating impossible odds. 2 days before the invasion fleet was due to arrive, Tai and Mina led a small team into an abandoned Navar research outpost. The aliens had left it when they moved to a bigger facility, but they hadn't cleared everything out. "Stay alert," Ta whispered as they moved through dark hallways. "There might be security systems still active." Mina pointed to a door at the end of the hall. "According to our intel, their main research lab is through there." Do-hyun worked on the lock while the others kept watch. The door slid open with a soft hiss. "We're in," he said. The lab was filled with strange equipment. Jin moved quickly to the main computer. "Can you access their files?" Tai asked. "I think so. Do-hyun's code should work." Her fingers moved across the keyboard. "I'm in." There's so much data here. While Jin worked, Tai and Maina explored the rest of the lab. They found something unexpected in a side room. "Look at this," Maina called. The room held large screens showing videos of humans in different situations. Some showed soldiers in combat. Others showed doctors performing surgery. There were videos of people in emergencies, fires, floods, accidents. "They've been studying us," Ta said, watching the screens. "But why these situations specifically?" Jin joined them, her eyes wide with excitement. "I found something important in their files. You need to see this." Back at the main computer, she showed them a document. "This is their psychological profile of humans," she explained. "They've been studying us for years before they made contact. Look at their conclusions." The document was in the Navar language, but Jin had translated the key parts. Asterisk, human weaknesses. Asterisk. Asterisk, physically weaker than Navar. Asterisk. Asterisk, no natural body armor. Asterisk. Asterisk, short lifespan. Asterisk. Asterisk, no hive-mind connection. Asterisk. Asterisk, operates as individuals rather than collective. Asterisk. Asterisk, emotional decision-making. Asterisk. "They think these are all weaknesses," Ta said, reading the list. "Exactly," Jin said. "But look at what they completely missed." She scrolled down to show another section labeled Anomalies. Asterisk, unexplained anomalies. Asterisk. Asterisk, extreme endurance compared to other species. Asterisk. Asterisk, ability to function despite severe injury. Asterisk. Asterisk, capacity to adapt to any environment. Asterisk. Asterisk, individual decision-making, sometimes faster than hive response. Asterisk. Asterisk, emotional responses, occasionally produce unexpected solutions. Asterisk. "They don't understand these traits," Jin said. "They can't process why we would evolve this way. They think our way is inefficient compared to their hive mind." Maina leaned closer to the screen. "They classify our greatest strengths as evolutionary mistakes. That's why they were watching those videos," Tae realized. "They're trying to understand how humans function in crisis situations. And they're confused by what they see," Jin said. "According to their notes, they expected us to break under pressure. Instead, they keep seeing humans become stronger, more creative, more determined." Do-hyun laughed softly. "They don't know about our history. We evolved through constant challenges. Predators, wars, natural disasters. Being adaptable isn't our weakness. It's how we survived." Tai studied the screens again. "They think their hive mind is superior because it allows perfect coordination, but it also makes them predictable. They can't understand individual initiative. That's our advantage," Maina said firmly. "They expect us to respond like them, as a single unit with a single strategy. They won't be prepared for multiple approaches from independent thinkers." Ta nodded slowly, a plan forming in his mind. "We need to use this. When their fleet arrives, they'll expect a standard military response, either surrender or a direct attack. But we'll do something they can't predict." Maina finished his thought. "Exactly," Ta said. "Let's gather what we need and get back to base. I know how we can fight them now." As they collected the data and prepared to leave, Jin stopped suddenly. "There's one more thing you should see," she said, pointing to the screen. "According to this, Sol will be on the command ship when the fleet arrives. He's coming to oversee the invasion personally." Tae's eyes hardened. "Good. Then he can watch us prove how wrong they are about humans." They left the facility as quietly as they had entered. For the first time since discovering the Navar's plan, they had hope. The aliens had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated humanity. The day before the invasion fleet arrived, Tai explained his plan to the resistance team. The Nivar expect us to either fight directly or surrender. They don't understand deception because their hive mind makes it hard for them to lie to each other. Ta pointed to the map on the table. So we're going to do something they won't expect. We're going to let them capture us. What? Several voices spoke at once. Not all of us, Ta continued. Just me and Maina. We'll let ourselves be taken to their command ship. Meanwhile, the rest of you will work on broadcasting the truth to the world. It's too dangerous, He-Jin said, concern in her eyes. It's our best chance, Maina replied. Once we're aboard their ship, we can access their main systems. Do-hyun has created a virus that can disrupt their hive connection. But someone needs to upload it directly into their network. The plan was risky, but they had no other choice. The Navar fleet would arrive in less than 24 hours. The next morning, Tai and Maina walked openly near a known Navar patrol area. They didn't have to wait long. A Navar scout ship spotted them and landed nearby. 4 tall aliens stepped out, weapons ready. Don't resist, Ta whispered to Maina. Remember, we need to look defeated. They dropped their weapons and raised their hands. The Navar surrounded them quickly. The human rebels, one Navar said. Seoul will be pleased. They were taken to a larger ship and then transferred to the Navar command vessel that had just entered Earth's orbit. The massive ship was bigger than anything humans had ever built. Tai and Maina were brought to a holding cell. They slumped their shoulders and kept their eyes down, playing the part of beaten prisoners. After an hour, guards came to take them to the command center. Seoul was waiting for them. The troublesome humans, Seoul said, looking at them with his black eyes. You caused quite a problem with your little resistance. Todd kept his head down, acting scared. We just wanted to warn people. And now you've failed. Seoul said, our fleet is here. Your military leaders are under our control. Earth will surrender by sunset. Why are you doing this? Mina asked, her voice purposely weak. Your planet has resources we need, Seoul explained. And your people will make adequate workers. We examined many species before choosing humans. You were the perfect balance, intelligent enough to be useful but weak enough to control. Ta looked up slightly. What do you mean? Seoul seemed pleased to explain their defeat to them. Your species is physically inferior. You have no natural weapons, no armor. Your only strength is your brain, and even that is flawed because you think as individuals instead of a collective. While Seoul talked, Mina slowly moved her hand to her pocket. Inside was a small device Do-hyun had given her. All she needed to do was place it near a computer terminal. Our first wave of ships will land in your major cities in 1 hour, Seoul continued. Any resistance will be crushed. Most humans won't even fight once they see our power. You're probably right, Ta said, still playing his role. Humans aren't as strong as Nivar. Exactly, Seoul said, pleased with Ta's submission. It is the natural order. The strong rule the weak. Mina stumbled slightly, moving closer to a control panel. In one quick motion, she pressed the device against it. A small light blinked green. Watch the monitors, Seoul commanded, pointing to large screens showing Earth. Your world's new era begins now. On the screens, they could see Navar ships entering Earth's atmosphere. But then something unexpected happened. The ships began to move erratically. Some veered off course. Others slowed down. Seoul frowned. What is happening? Alarms started to sound throughout the command ship. A Navar officer rushed in. Commander, we're losing control of the fleet. The ships aren't responding to commands. How is this possible? Seoul demanded. Tai slowly stood straighter, no longer pretending to be defeated. You made a mistake, Seoul. What mistake? Seoul snarled. You underestimated humans, Ta said with a smile. Right now, a human-made virus is spreading through your network, disrupting your hive connection. Mina stood tall beside him. And that's not all. The truth about your invasion is being broadcast to every human on Earth. Sol's face showed shock for the first time. Impossible. You're just two primitive humans. Two humans who were captured exactly according to plan. Ta said. Our plan. On the screens, they could see Navarre ships fall into confusion as their coordinated attack fell apart. Operation Trojan Horse had worked. Sol's face twisted with rage. What have you done? He demanded. We adapted, Ta said simply. That's what humans do. The command center was in chaos. Navarre officers rushed between stations, trying to regain control of their ships. The screens showed the invasion fleet scattered, some ships colliding with each other. Restore the hive connection. Sol shouted to his officers. We're trying, Commander, one replied. But the virus keeps changing. It's adapting to our attempts to remove it. Mina smiled. Du Hyun designed it to work like human thinking. Flexible, unpredictable, and very stubborn. Guards moved toward Tai and Mina, weapons raised. Kill them, Sol ordered. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. Alarms blared louder. We're under attack. A Navarre officer called out. Earth ships are targeting us. On the screens, they could see human fighter jets approaching the command ship. With the Navarre fleet in disarray, Earth's military had quickly organized a counterattack. Impossible, Sol said. Your weapons can't harm our ships. Maybe not normally, Ta said. But He-Jin figured out the weak points in your ship design. She's very good at understanding biology, including your ship's biological components. Another blast rocked the ship. The lights flickered. Commander, our shields are failing, an officer reported. The humans are targeting the exact points where our defenses are weakest. Mina looked Sol in the eyes. You studied us for years but missed what makes humans special. We don't give up. We don't follow predictable patterns. And we're at our best when things look worst. Ta moved quickly, grabbing a weapon from a distracted guard. Mina did the same. Now armed, they took cover behind a control panel as the ship shook again. Sol backed away, his confidence gone. For the first time, there was fear in his black eyes. You should surrender now, Ta called out to him. Tell your fleet to stand down. Never, Sol snarled. We are superior. This is just a temporary setback. The ship rocked with another impact. Part of the ceiling collapsed, crushing a control station. Commander, main power is failing. We need to retreat, an officer urged. Sol hesitated, then made his decision. Prepare my escape pod. Running away. Ta stepped out from cover, his weapon aimed at Sol. I thought the Navarre were superior. This isn't over, human, Sol said. We will return with a bigger force. And we'll be ready, Tay replied. But first, you need to answer for what you've done. More of the ship's systems were failing. Smoke filled the command center. Your species is a mistake, Sol said bitterly. You shouldn't have survived evolution. Your emotions make you weak. Your individuality makes you inefficient. Your bodies are fragile. You should have died out long ago. That's where you're wrong, Ta said. Our emotions give us strength. Our individuality makes us creative. And though our bodies may be fragile, our will is not. Mina joined him. That's the shocking revelation you missed in all your studies. What you saw as weaknesses are actually our greatest strengths. The human fighters continued their attack. The command ship was losing altitude, falling toward Earth. This ship is going down, Mina said. We need to get to an escape pod. They made their way through the damaged ship, taking Sol as their prisoner. As they reached the escape pods, they could see Earth through a viewport, beautiful and blue, now defended by its people. They launched away from the command ship just before it broke apart. Their pod descended toward the ocean below. What happens now? Mina asked as they watched the remains of the Navarre fleet retreating from Earth. Now we prepare, Ta said. The galaxy just learned that humans aren't as weak as they thought. That's going to change everything. As their pod splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, Ta looked at the sky. The Navar had underestimated humans, our adaptability, our determination, our individual creativity. It was a mistake they wouldn't make again. But next time, humanity would be ready. And the shocking revelation that had saved Earth today would become our greatest strength tomorrow.